Hello, welcome to another Gundam Operation 2 video. That is the new suit, the full armor double Zeta. Not the Phaz, but another Phaz, right? This one's going to be at 700 though instead of 600, and it's going to be yet another 4-star 700 suit. It's going to be a support this time, and yeah, this is a pretty crazy suit in terms of like the amount of unique things it has compared to other supports, and new skills as well. Plenty of neat things to talk about here, and the discussion of whether it's the best 700 support at the moment, right? So yeah, we'll get there when we get there, but yeah, let's go ahead and get right into the stats for this suit. Actually, before we go there, I do have potentially 3 matches here for you. The first match is going to be on Almost the City Ruins. No, it's going to be the new map, Mass Driver Facility, which I played a couple of matches on. I think I even have one recorded just in case, with me using the Ashmar. It was pretty fun, and I mean, the map itself is I actually quite like the map. A lot of things you can do on that map, but yeah, I do have the first match here is going to be the Phaz on that. My bad, the full armor double Zeta. I have to like fully say the name of that now so people don't get confused. But yeah, the full armor double Zeta on that. The second match is going to be me playing it in space on lunar debris because it has space infinity. I want to see how it does. And the third match, potential match, is going to be another match in space just to have something to fill the time, right? I think we still do fairly good in it, right? But yeah, let's go ahead and get to the stats now. You have 23,000 health with 36 ballistic and 32 beam resistance. You have 10 melee resistance. You have 45 range strength, 25 melee strength, 110 movement speed with 200 boost speed, 50 thruster gauge, and 66 turning speed. And for slots, you have 14 close, 18 mid, and 20 long range slots. And yeah, first thing that jumps out to me immediately is 10 melee resistance. That is really low for 700, like dangerously low. I mean, they already recognize that having low melee resistance is really bad for other suits. I mean, look at the Kshatriya. The Kshatriya used to have 0, and they buffed that up to where, even though it's still like, what, I want to say 20, 25 when it got buffed, they made it to where you can definitely build to negate having that, really bad melee resistance, and it actually really helps the Kshatriya be really tanky. If you guys haven't seen my buffed or scuffed on the Kshatriya, it's a really great support right now. So yeah, we have this suit with 10. So I don't know. I guess to balance all the stuff this suit has, which we'll get into here in a second. But yeah, you do have 10 melee resistance, which one of the builds I have done, I believe is in the first match. I gave myself 40 melee resistance, and I gave myself a more beam resistance and a little bit more range strength just to help that out. Just to be a little bit more tanky. I do have another build where I just went full on in damage, where I gave myself, I believe, 70 range strength, and then I believe 35 melee strength, right? Really helped dish out the damage. I think that might have been one of the space matches I used that, but oh yeah, just hitting people, that satisfying double Zeta downswing, just chunking people for a lot of damage. It's just yeah, it's pretty damn good. But yeah, of course you can also fill out some other stuff if you want to, like generator parts, or if you want some thruster gauge, something like that, right? So typical stuff you can do, or reload parts. So yeah, pretty decent otherwise. But yeah, the 10 melee resistance, and you are really slow too, 110 movement speed. So very slow. And 200 boost speed. I believe that would at least catch up a little bit with people. I want to say, like, I think the Kshatriya has like, what, 210. So you're not the fastest support, unfortunately. But I mean, look at all the armor you have, so it kind of makes sense why you're that slow, right? But yeah, now we're on to the weapons. Starting off with the primary weapons, first of all, you have the Phaz GDB rifle, which is 1,400 damage with 85% heat rate and 450 range. Unfortunately, this is not like the other double beam rifles that the other double Zetas have. The other double Zetas, I believe the double Zeta and the enhanced double Zeta share the same beam rifle, where it's uncharged. It'll shoot uncharged shots, right? They'll do decent, like really good damage, actually. I almost said decent, actually pretty good damage. You can combo that with like with EZs, you can combo it to your Vulcans or whatnot, or of course you can charge it for more damage and a stun. Good for like DPS or like stun accumulation, right? Unfortunately, this is actually just a straight up instant stun, which I say unfortunately, maybe it's because it feels like it doesn't have as much damage as the double Zeta or the enhanced double Zeta, right? Um, so it is a instant stun though, so it works as just a basic instant stun to lock somebody in. Now you do have plenty of other weapons to combo that into. So I mean, it works. So there's that. Pretty nice to go into melee or again your other weapons. So it does the job. Now for your melee weapon, you have the Phaz GHB Saber, which is 2,900 damage. Just like with the other double Zetas, it does a lot of damage. And because you are a support, you will do insane amounts of damage to generals. I believe I mentioned like 5k in the testing video. I think, yeah, straight up just 5k damage downswings. Now if you throw in some of your other weapons during a combo, yeah, you'll definitely just sorry about that. Like evaporate general's health. So yeah, do keep that in mind. And you do have these skills to support a you going into melee where you have balancers and force injectors, and of course, when you get lower in health, at 50% health, you do gain some other quirks that will help you out with being really aggressive. So yeah, pretty nice start so far. Now we're getting to the secondary weapons. Starting off, you have the double Vulcan, which is 130 damage, 40 rounds, and 200 range. These will stun in 20 hits, not 17 like some other suits. So it's missing. It takes a little bit more shots, right? And it's not the fastest firing Vulcan, so it's not going to get you a stun super quickly. Although, of course, maybe if you're attacking a maneuver armor suit, maybe you can combo that with your beam rifle. But I don't remember if the double beam rifle has that much stun accumulation, so it might not be super reliable, but it does build up some decent damage. It is 130 damage. You're a support with that's going to build up. Just focus firing on somebody that's low on health, so pretty good for that. Typical Vulcan things, and of course you can target pilots. So yeah, does that job very well. Now we're on to the next thing here, the double cannon, which is 1,500 damage, 85% heat rate, and 500 range. These are the double cannons on your back, which if you guys remember, originally the double Zeta didn't even have those. Like going back to the original double Zeta, they actually buffed the double Zeta to use that as a weapon, which the EZZ got released. It has that, and this suit will follow suit. You will fire 2 beams, and they will both instant stun. And of course, if you hit both of them, they'll get you some pretty damn good damage. I believe I almost got 4k on a shot against somebody. So yeah, really good damage. Provides you another stun. Really easy to combo this after your beam rifle. So hey, you got Sunlock. Pretty nice. And of course, it also has 500 range, so you can use that to poke from a pretty good distance. And actually, combined with the Phaz beam rifle, you can potentially poke with the cannons first, and as you get closer, use the rifle. So there's that. Next weapon here is the rear missile launcher ×2. That is 250 damage, 36 rounds, and 500 range. These are kind of typical like you see on the double Zeta and the enhanced double Zeta. You just fire a bunch of slow firing missiles, and they do a pretty good arc, and they'll land on top of the enemy. Not the best in terms of follow-ups, but if you do manage to focus fire on somebody, it does do really good damage, and I believe it stuns in 6 hits. And of course, you can use these while boosting. They're pretty much just almost the exact same as the other double Zetas and how they work with the missiles. So yeah, nothing much there. The next weapon here is the shoulder 6 tube SML incendiary rounds. ×2, my bad. So 150 damage with 12 rounds and 450 range. And they have a more narrow arc than the regular missiles, and they will fire incendiary rounds. If you hit somebody, they'll do the initial damage, where here it's 150 damage. So of course you'll do a little bit more against generals, a little bit less against raids. And not only that, they will burn the target. Now typically, as we've seen in the past with incendiary rounds, whenever a suit will hit somebody, there's a mix and match of different ones where, like, the Zeus, I believe, will hit, it'll do ticks of damage, like 5 ticks, right? 200 damage or 250 damage per tick. I believe the Gazelle Growl has does like 1,200 damage per, like, 3 ticks, right? And I think, all those kind of ranges, right? This suit does 200 damage per tick for 15 ticks of damage. So if you guys don't know your math, that is 3,000 damage if you're not checking yourself. And the thing is, that's just with one missile. If you're not dodge rolling, or your suit that if your suit that doesn't have a dodge roll, unfortunately, yeah, they can just keep firing that at you, and you'll just keep taking damage, really wear you down. Really, really good. It has 450 range too, so you can definitely poke at people with this, which I've done quite a lot, just to help wear down the enemy team that keeps trying to poke at you or whatnot. Really, really great weapon just based on that burn damage. Again, the initial damage isn't that high, and the stun accumulation, I believe it takes most of your missiles to get a stun or nearly get a stun. So obviously you're just using these for the damage output, really, or you can combo that into something else that you have. Really, really good. Probably one of the best incendiary rounds. Again, not in terms of the damage, just the amount of ticks that'll do to somebody. 3,000 damage overall, and that's just with one missile. So yeah, pretty good. Next weapon here is the Head High Mega Cannon, which is 1,900 damage with 100% heat rate, 600 range, and you do have to focus fire this, and you have to sit still while doing it. This is the head cannon, and yeah, it's just like with the Double Zeta or the enhanced Double Zeta. Not like the mass production Double Zeta, which despite being a mass production, it can walk around while charging that. Yeah, no, this suit you have to sit still for. And once you charge it up, it will blast somebody with a big old Droby beam. It'll do a ton of damage. I believe I've consistently gotten like 13k on generals, which is pretty good. And it will heavy stagger as well. Now, I will mention a skill early here. Usually, I'll do the skills last, but you do have a skill called Linked Fire, where if you press the touchpad button, the Mega Cannon will actually change into a different weapon, where it'll combine with your shoulder cannons, and you'll fire a big old beam where you can move while charging it, and when it does hit, it will fire again a beam. Not a Droby, but you have to stand still to fire it. It'll hit somebody for not as much damage as 13k, but it's still something sizable like 6,000, and at least consistently that I've gotten. And not only that, it also has a blast radius, so if you miss the target, you at least aim around their feet and potentially get a heavy stagger that way. Combo that into your other weapons, and yeah, there you go. Now, I believe it doesn't overheat when it's in linked fire mode after you use it once, but you do have a time limit of 30 seconds. So once that is up, you will wait. I believe you have to wait like 1 minute and 30 seconds until you can use your head thing again, which is really weird, honestly. Like, I feel like it's just overheat at that point. The overheat's already like really long, so I don't know why they want to keep adding to that, especially like 1 minute and 30 seconds, which is weird. But hey, I mean, I guess the double heavy stagger that you have is really nice. And I say double heavy stagger because the next weapon you have here is the Chest High Mega Cannon, 5,000 damage with 100% heat rate, 400 range, and this you do have to charge this, but you can actually move while charging this. Compared to the head the head charge where you have to sit still. Now, of course, this will help you in repositioning. And it will provide you another heavy stagger, so you can probably use this one first to engage an enemy, get a heavy stagger, go into your other weapons for a combo. So yeah, pretty basic and simple, works really well. This does not work with linked fire, so it only works with your head mega cannon, right? So whenever the linked fire goes away, you have to wait that 1 minute and 30 seconds. Yeah, you'll be fine to use the abdominal cannon, right? So. Or the chest cannon, which doesn't really look like it's on the chest, but And yeah, that is it for the weapons, and now we're on to the skills. You have radar level 3, aerospace gimbal level 2, so you can tilt up and down further in space. You have data link, of course, all supports do, where you can see enemy health that are on your radar. You have blast stabilizer, so mobile suit explosions will not heavy stagger you. You have balancers, which is pretty nice for a support to have. That means you can basically boost up in melee instantly as soon as you stop boosting. You have melee combo controllers, so that gives you 2 melee swings, and you are support with double Zeta beam saber, so pretty long range. Really nice to have. You have power accelerator level 2, which means if you clash with an enemy, after that clash animation, you can immediately start boosting once you guys bounce off of each other. And if you guys just normally bounce off each other, you can boost out of that as well. Now, you start off with 1 melee priority, but one of these skills later on will give you 2 melee priorities. So you'll be able to clash with generals, and you can boost off of that. So keep that in mind, that you do have Power Accelerator level 2. I almost kind of wish it started off with 2 melee priorities just so it can clash with raids later on, but that might be too much. Yeah, continuing on with the skills, you have aim back level 2, force injectors, you can boost back and forth rapidly. You have resist movement, which is the support dodge roll. Unfortunately, I really wish we just had normal dodge rolls for supports, but basically resist dodge roll is just a dodge roll without the iframes, which, I mean, most people probably already work with resist movement anyway in this game whenever they do a normal dodge roll, but anyway, yeah, you still can't, you'll still take damage whenever you do a dodge roll, so be careful when you're around raids that are going to, like, just do a heavy attack on you and you try to dodge roll preemptively. Yeah, that doesn't work, you're gonna die, so so keep that in mind, or, you know, if somebody's shooting at you, you know, you'll still take damage. You do have a chest armor buffer. I believe that is 15%, where your chest is. You have back add-on buffer level 2. I believe that one's actually 15% on your back. You have counter program level 2, so at 50% health, you will gain a more powerful counter. You have linked fire, which we mentioned earlier. Anti-beam coating level 2, which so we already had anti-beam coating level 1 with the Delta Gundam, which with that one, I believe once it hits 50% health, its beam resistance, it has the ability at its first 50% health, right? It can tank beam weapons. It will take way low reduced damage from beam weaponry. It'll take, I believe, longer stun accumulation to stun it. But once you reach 50% health, all your beam resistance goes away. All of it. And it makes you extremely vulnerable, like almost like one-shot territory. You know, for me, I didn't really like the skill on the Delta Gundam. But seems like here they have a level 2 version. And what this does is that you'll take 30% less damage from beam attacks. And it will nullify, you know, just like with the Delta Gundam, you'll nullify instant staggers from beam weaponry. You know, heavy staggers will become, I believe, normal staggers, I want to say. But whenever you're at 50% health, instead of your beam resistance going all the way to 0, it'll actually drop to 50% of your beam resistance. So it'll half it. Now, I still think that's kind of doo-doo. I really don't like this kind of skill in the first place, but yeah, having 10 melee resistance and then you know, your beam resistance getting halved, it's really, yeah, there's some moments where you just kind of just die, you know. So this is why I built up my melee and my beam resistance for one of my builds. It really kind of helps me survive, and I kind of it can be tough. There's some moments where yeah, there's just problems. I don't like the skill at all in either level 1 or 2. It's nice for the, you know, the first half, of course, you know, you can tank a lot of stuff, but just like with the Delta Gundam, if there's a suit that has a ballistic stun, which at 700 there's quite a few actually. You got the Sinanju Stein, a lot of level 2 suits. I believe the High New Gundam, if they're using the bazooka, right, the new FF. They have a lot of ballistic stuns, so they can just shoot you with those instead, and you'll get stunned normally if you're above 50% health. So, yeah, I really don't like this skill. But moving on, though, you do have finally a new Biosensor J, which I'm guessing stands for Judo, and yeah, that comes with if you reach 50% health, which is actually the first support in the game to get a 50% health biosensor. Once you reach 50% health, you will gain, you will get faster. You know, you'll have more thruster gauge. You will have more, I believe, more melee damage. I want to say, yeah, melee damage. Your melee priority actually goes up from 1 to 2. And oh god, what else do we got here? You will also gain maneuver armor level 1. and offense system level 1. And not only that, whenever you do melee somebody, you will take reduced damage while you're doing melee attacks. So yeah, that is a lot for this suit once it reaches 50% health. Now keep in mind that your beam resistance does get halved, but at the same time, you gain a lot of skills that really want you to go really aggressive on people. So yeah, the suit kind of plays two different ways. Where the first half, you're kind of like a really tanky against beams, just kind of like, oh, I don't want to say like typical support, but you know what I mean, like a little bit passive aggressive, right? And then once you reach that 50% health, you can go like berserker mode essentially, and it can work pretty damn well. And again, you should have power accelerator level 2. Once you gain that second melee priority, you can clash against generals. So pretty all right actually, pretty good. Really great for a support to have. Really unique for support to have as well, because this is the first support that will gain maneuver armor essentially. Now we don't have a support that has maneuver armor naturally, but this is still the first support that gets it essentially. But yeah, that is it for the skills, and now we're going into the pros and cons. Starting off with the cons, start off with the obvious here, is that you are a bigger suit, so you are easier to hit. You're a big chunky boy. Now, you know, of course, beam weapons at first won't be an issue to you. But the next con here is that you do have 10 melee resistance. This is really low. In fact, the devs themselves know that this is really low and not optimal at all. Because again, the Kshatriya was buffed to not have low melee resistance, and we have stuff like the Phaz, the level 3 Phaz. They buffed the melee resistance as well. I think by like what was it, like 20 also at 700, right? So they know, right? And you know, it got stuff like the Dag Doll. The Dag Doll you can actually get some really good melee resistance on as well. So they know that's not really good to have low melee resistance. Now you can build to have, again, like 40 melee resistance, but you will be lacking in other areas if you're looking for that avenue, right? And of course, you know, if you're not building your beam resistance, which I guess we'll go into the next con here, is the anti-beam coating level 2. Now, it's both a pro and a con, where the pro is that, of course, you know, you can tank beam weaponry, which a lot of suits, a majority of suits actually, at this cost will have. However, there's also a good mix of ballistic stuns as well. I think a lot of the suits you'll normally see will have a ballistic stun in some form or fashion, so they do have a way to actually stop you in your tracks. And once you do reach 50% health, which is not too hard sometimes, depending on the suit you're fighting, like with their melee strength, right? Yeah, you'll be more susceptible to beam resistance or beam attacks. Yeah, your beam resistance gets halved, and it's like, okay, well, I'm fucked essentially. So yeah, there's been moments where you know, a guy will show up in, I think, like a Moon Gundam. Moon Gundam shows up with a grenade launcher, boom, stun, boom, I get hit by a good old combo, right? And then I'm at half health, and it's like, oh shit, okay, I'm vulnerable to if somebody else shows up to shoot me, right? Yeah, I lose that that resistance to beam stuns. So to me, just the beam coating skill, it's just a flawed skill in my opinion. Honestly, I'd rather just have the high resistances and just call it a day, you know? Because I feel like it just adds a lot of unnecessary just shit to happen. That's just me though. I mean, even then, the suit, I still think the suit's good overall, but I just don't like this skill at all in any shape or form. Either on the Delta Gundam, on this suit, I just don't like it. Or, you know, even the alternatives, like the ballistic version of this skill that's on the Chobham Armor Alex. I just don't like the skill. I don't like it. Now, of course, you know, if you got like a really good team protecting you, it can be really hard to beat you, which, yeah, it can be really annoying to deal with you at that point. Which is also, it's just I just don't like the skill. Some other downsides on this suit is that your resist movement, because you don't have any iframes in your dodge roll, you will still get damage while doing a dodge roll. Anything else? You are slow as well, 100, I believe. Let me double check that. 110 movement speed, I believe. Yeah, 110 and 200 boost speed. Now this does increase whenever you're at 50% health, so I guess that's kind of, it negates itself. So I guess that's good. And now for the pros, I did make fun of the anti-beam armor, but again, the first half of your health, you are able to tank beam stuns, which can come in handy in a lot of areas where some people will try to push their luck and just shoot you immediately with a beam rifle. It's like, oh shit, okay, well he didn't get stunned, and then you just blow them away with your amazing damage output, which will go into another pro for this suit, is that your damage output is significant. The beam rifle, the double cannons, your missile barrages, the incendiary missiles, they will get you a lot of damage. Even just casually playing like really terribly in some of the matches I was doing, I think I just like casually just almost reached 100k anyway, right? So I can only imagine if somebody really was really trying with the suit and working with a really good team, they can absolutely just dismantle people with like generals with the damage output on this suit. So I'm assuming that's why this suit does have the downsides that it does have. Because yeah, the damage output is really crazy on this suit, and like the melee is really good. There's really nice weapons, even though the missiles are slow to fire and hit, right? Just everything on the suit just does damage. Another pro for this suit, even though I already mentioned the anti-beam armor, I kind of didn't like that, right? Resist movement, even though you still take damage while doing a dodge roll, this still does help you from getting countered a lot, or not countered, my bad. I would just say something like from getting followed up on, like if somebody stuns you and they're going for a melee, well, you can dodge that and potentially fight back by, immediately shooting them if they stun or whatnot, right? So even though you don't have the iframes, it's still really nice to at least get out of the way and fight back. So yeah, or use that around corners, like trick somebody into firing at you. Oh hey, he's in the middle of a dodge roll, and you just fire at him, right? So anything else pro wise I can think of? Of course the skills are really nice with like the Biosensor J, right? You gain maneuver armor and the offense system. You take less damage when you're doing melee attacks. It increases your damage as well. Insane damage output on the suit, which I already mentioned before. But yeah, I think that'll go ahead and wrap it up for the full armor double Zeta. And yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want. I'd really appreciate it. And type up in the comment section how you feel about the full armor double Zeta. Do you like it? Do you hate it? And if I missed anything, let me know, because there was a lot of stuff to cover with this suit in terms of like the skills and what they do exactly. I might have missed something here, but yeah, overall I think it's a great suit. Now I don't think it's the best support. I still think that might be somewhere with the Kshatriya or the FF Sazabi. Now, because I haven't been playing the game as much recently, I haven't been keeping up on the whole what people think about what is the best support. I think right now it might be the Kshatriya, and I think I'll agree with that, because the Kshatriya is just absolutely loaded with a bunch of stuff, right? It is incredibly tanky. I think the potential with the Kshatriya is a lot higher, in my opinion, than the full armor double Zeta, where the Kshatriya can survive a lot more engagements, right? Because of having that really good defense mode skill. I think defense mode level 2, which actually kind of helps it in terms of defending itself better than the original level 1. The level 1 version that skill fucking sucks, in my opinion. Don't like it on the on the Shazar team B Justa, which apparently that got buffed, and it's apparently really good in a lot of aspects. So I can't wait to see people play that for spectator matches, right? But yeah, so I still think the Kshatriya and the FF Sazabi, maybe more so the Kshatriya, are better than the full armor double Zeta in some aspects, in terms of survivability, right? But if you don't have those suits, then I totally do recommend this suit, because it is pretty fun to play. It's pretty satisfying to get some of your hits off. It's like the other double Zetas, right? They're pretty satisfying to play. And yeah, that's going to be a thing I mentioned. Yeah, if you guys enjoy the video, leave, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, if you guys don't know the news yet, I will be stepping away from GBO2 tomorrow, which I guess will be today when this video is released. We'll be doing a spectator match. I would appreciate if you guys would join if you guys want to, just to send everything off, right? That will be around 2:30, at least starting around 2:30 Central, right? And yeah, this will be pretty much the last initial thoughts video for this channel for the foreseeable future, right? Maybe there will be something down the line that really interests me. Who knows, right? Who knows? But yeah, that'll be it. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Where do you think you're going, little shit?